Hello, members of the internet. Today, I have a tutorial, yeah. A very high-pitched intro there. But anyway, I have a rusty vehicle that we can start work on. It's essentially a ladder frame. A very, very simple construction of vehicle, and I'm moving the camera down too much. Come around too much. Anyway, it's a ladder frame, very, very basic. We do have these axle things. There are various ones available if we go into here that you can see. I've just decided to use these two because they appear to work in my particular usage case. If I do want to move a brick though, I don't go into history. I can go move selection, and then I can use WSD to move it around. Or say if I want to move it lower, I can use shift and drag the mouse down. Same for going up, only I drag the mouse up. And it all works essentially the same. You'll see now it can go on there, but I want it here, so I'll move it back to where it was. That is basically how you add wheels using these. You've got the chassis here. The chassis is what they all need to attach to. There are better types of chassis, but they are a bit more complex. Now the default colour is white. I'll get on how I can change that in a moment. For now, I want to kind of actually, if I do this first. I don't remember tyre pressure actually the last time I was playing with this. Should we have plastic wheels? No. Let's have brushed aluminium. That should look quite nice. And as you'll see there, I did just go on the colour and carbon fibre. You have all these default colours. Although if I wanted to, I could go with foam. And then I could just use the paint and I can do orange. You can have orange wood as well if you desperately want to. But yeah, we're going to have foam wheels on our tutorial car, and then we basically duplicate these, WASD, all around the vehicle, and that will give us some excessively large off-road tyres. It is basically an off-roader, so that's what I'm coming up with. You could probably drag and select. No, you can't actually. I would have really thought that would have been a feature by now. But anyway, there we go. It looks kind of stupid, but I don't mind it. I'm more concerned about how much rust is on the chassis. And I'm getting sidetracked. That's a wheel? A very strange wheel. Anyway, we can have sirens, apparently. I think there's some way to trigger these, actually. So, you know, let's add them onto our vehicle. We don't want bright orange foam sirens, though. They can be made of pine trees. Colourless, though, when it goes to normal pine. Yes. And then, you know, while we're here, I would say add headlights, but there's a lot of engine-y bits that need adding. Now, I think fitting for the front of this car would be a V6, or we could possibly fit a V8 on the rear. Either way, either engine would do the job. And there's a cat under my bed. Oh well. I need to get the engine anyway. Ooh! I've just had a really stupid idea for my tutorial car. Yeah, we're putting a drag engine in. You don't have to put a drag engine in your car. It's probably smart you don't, let's be honest. It'll probably be a nightmare to drive. But for just showing how it works, why not put a drag engine in? I have the space. And we have wooden spark plugs. I think we'll have some carbon fibre on it. That looks quite sporty on an engine. Although it's odd to see rusty old steel, presumably with no corrosion protection and carbon fibre on the same car. That's what I'm going for right now. We have exhausts. Come on, move the camera. Being a bit funny with me there. Now, here would be a good time to put a rotator in, I think, as they've called them. Redirector even. And we can have one of these, or two of these even. It doesn't quite fit, but let's be quiet about it and pretend no one will notice. It's only a tutorial car, it doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. And duplicate that. Where am I going to fit the tail lights though, I wonder? Because I do still want tail lights. I can actually have a carbon fibre exhaust manifold. Actually, should I make that? Aluminium seems like quite a good material. See, it's very easy to change all these colours and bits, so if you do want to. can we hopefully go around here? There we go. These should snap on here, yeah. Duplicate this and duplicate this. I use the shift and drag upwards to move this. That's when I want to move it upwards, otherwise I can just move it across. You'll see I'm using the duplicate feature a lot. It's very, very useful for that. So we've got an engine, we've got our exhaust, and we've got somewhere to mount the tail lights, but we've got no tail lights. So where do we find the tail lights? It's under lights, put simply. Now it's not the very easiest thing to do this, it's still fairly easy though. So he should just snap right on there. Now the glass here you'll see is what we want. We don't want to make it out of wood. However, we do want to make it more red, I would say, for braking light. We can have reversing lights as well if we want on top of those. Actually, we will. So let's duplicate them. The hardest part of this is shift and drag. The hardest part of this is getting it the flash sequence right. But even then, that's only hard for me. For most people, they'll have no problem with it at all. That's the same colour as our wheels, I've just realised. So we want blinker, I think, on these, because these are going to be our indicators. Or beacon, as I generally use for my beacons, because you don't actually have indicators. I think we designed it more with military machines and tanks in mind, but I like to build cars on here. And these back ones, it's listed as headlights, although I want brake lights. Brake light, there we go. So that's the lighting covered. Now, if we try and just go, because we've got an engine, we've got some lights, it won't let us. And I think it said make sure the driver's seat is in the car. Yes, make sure it has the driver's seat. So if we just save quickly, I can hopefully find the driver's seat somewhere. Wherever they hide it, there we go. Player brick. It's not very well hidden because I found it. We can have... Ooh, what material is that? I wonder. Oh, it's orange aluminium. Very, very strange. I think, you know what? We could have a wooden chair, or could have rusted steel. Ooh, let's have a plastic school chair. Yes, you're going to drive this from a plastic school chair. Okay. Nothing really particularly wrong with that. I think I'll also have some green steps. Or remote controls. I think you can make remote control vehicles, although I'm not too sure on that at the moment. Ooh, better still, we can have tiled steps. No, I won't bother though. But if you use these ones, you can kind of make tiles. To show you. I know it's going to be kind of out of balance when I've done all this. But if you made those black and white, you would have kind of tiled steps by using these smaller squares. So there we go. It's kind of misaligned steps. It doesn't quite fit with the nature of where the seat sits. Although I can actually fix that. Again, we go move selection when I'm not happy with that. So I can move it down. And move selection so I can move this seat down. And I shifted and dragged down as well there, but that's how you move them. If you just try and WASD or do anything, it won't do it if you don't go and move selection. We can redo and undo. Say I weren't happy with where the seat is, I can undo or redo where I positioned it. That's all fine. Now, that is, I think, the basics we need to get going. However, I wouldn't just get going like that. I believe there is other bits that need changing. Like, I want it to be rear-wheel drive, because if we've got a transverse mounted, rear mounted, or is that mid-engined? I think technically mid-engined V8. We want it to be rear-wheel drive because it makes sense for this type of vehicle. Even if it's an off-roader, you probably wouldn't make it all-wheel drive. It would just add too much weight, and I'm getting distracted, but... Where were it? There. We're on the axle now. That's where you adjust the properties. So, suspension stiffness. I think we can soften it up. Where was it? I think we can have it softer on the front. So let's have about 15. suspension stiffness on the front, because it does actually simulate the weight of a vehicle. So if we have the engine in the back, it's going to be a lot heavier. We'll have 25 on the way. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I'll give it a bit more suspension travel. 38. It is, after all, an off-roader. That's basically how good it is off-road. If you give it more travel, it'll be better off-road, but then it'll come at the cost of not being able to handle as well. If we go with steering angle, we do need some steering on the front of sorts. It may not be perfectly set up right now, but we can align it all later. If we go with invert drive direction, I don't know, which way is it driving? Can we get around that? No, it's driving the right way. We don't need to invert that. It has brakes, but we don't want it to be driven, because as I said, rear wheel drive, and we don't want it to have a handbrake, but we want it to have a normal brake. Okay. So I think that's just about everything that we need. We could give it all-wheel steer, but I don't see much point. Now, if I just save my model again, it's quite a nice little car we've got here. Not the most complex in the world, but it should be enough to get us going. So let's try it. Oh dear, brake. You see here, it works perfectly. Whoa! It's a strange thing to drive. We can go from first person. It's got a very odd view there, just the horns. It's a drag engine in this, but it feels so slow it might just be the huge wheels. Now, if we go F1, beacon, I just see is Q, so that will turn our kind of beacon indicator things on. As I say, you can't indicate properly in this game yet. I may even add headlights around there. That would be a good addition, but I don't need to do that in the tutorial because I've already shown how to do the lighting. And it would just be more pointless time wasted. Cycle Sirens V. Okay. So, let's drag race this. So, here we have the gear ratio. I forgot to mention this before. But basically, I think the lower gear ratios are tighter gears, which should theoretically make it quicker. I think that's how it works. So if I save this and leave, yeah, there I have another car I crashed. I also worked out there's a drag race function, which it got mad at me for before. Oh dear. This is not the most controllable of vehicles, at least not with a keyboard. I think the tyre pressures might be too low, meaning it's got very squidgy soft tyres. And the suspension is actually quite firm for something that's supposed to go off-road, but it's in very early stages. Oh dear. Brake. Wait, you can stay there. Hopefully your creator can get the track race working. No. Oh well. It would normally give me a time, but I'll have to just do without that. Oh dear. It does not feel right. We've got a load of metal on foam wheels. Mind for stability. It could be a lot worse. Given how bad the weight balance is, and oh dear. Oddly, when I crashed before, I was fine. Probably need a roll cage of sorts. But anyway, I should be able to just go back, yeah? I don't know why before when I tried to press backspace actually to reset, it wasn't working. But anyway, if I press the right button this time, there you'll see our lovely vehicle. Our tutorial vehicle even, as you'll see. I think I mentioned E to enter the car, E to leave the car as well. So I'm going to leave it here today, and I'm going to say goodbye until another day.